Hey there, angry faithful. I just wanted to drop in, bend your ear a little bit, get your attention. So if you're not listening, drop what you're doing and pay attention to me because I'm here to inform you that not only can you get your daily, maybe if you're binging it, I'm not sure, that's entirely up to you, but you can multiply your doses of angry me fuckery by paying attention to all of the platforms upon which you can find either the dulcet tones of my voice and David's voice, or my pretty face and David's not so pretty face. Anyways, digressing, we not only we are on YouTube, we are on Spotify, we're on Rumble, we're on Google, Apple Podcast. We have a TikTok page. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and of course Facebook. So if you find yourself fuckery deprived, curl up with a nice hot mug of shut the fuck up and just listen. Open those ear holes and be prepared to be cream pied like it's the first time. Thanks for listening.
Welcome, Angry Faithful. Today on Nerd Sports 72, we're going to talk about. I just had it, you piece of. Okay, there we go. Cyber tossing.
I knew there was going to be some kind of throwing involved. Cyber tossing. So I'm guessing we chuck old computers off of a cliff or something.
No, it's that old. They take a big log in Scotland and toss it. Part of the Scottish Games.
Oh, you said cyber tossing.
Is it Caber?
Caber.
Yeah.
See,
I messed up.
Okay, so just so everybody understands, yes, I know that there's an echo. I just closed on my brand new house on Friday. We started moving in Saturday. I had to throw my portion of the office together just to make recording on time today. So we've got boxes everywhere. Dude, I hurt in places that I forgot that I could hurt.
Yeah, I figured
my knee is trashed, my hip is trashed, my back is jacked up. Let me see here. Hung a TV in the living room last night. Helped put together an entertainment center. Put the TV up in my sister-in-law's room. I got to hang a TV in my son's room today. I've got sound bar to mount and cables to hide on the living room wall. Yeah, dude. The struggle is real, man. But, and these are first world problems.
You know what I found out? You know, the first, second, and third world? You know what that actually means? It means that we're in a first world is democracy. Second world is communism. Third world is neutral. That's what it actually means.
I thought it meant about your industrialization.
No.
So it's got nothing to do with that?
Nothing.
I feel kind of jilted, man.
I did too when I first heard it. He was like, you never heard, because I had a Tolu on, and he's like, you never hear about second world problems, do you? I was like, you know what? You don't. And I found
waiting in line for a roll of toilet paper would be a second world problem.
Oh, yeah, that would be.
Or in the case of America, the 2020 pandemic problem.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, man, it's, about 3, almost 4 years ago, I was told I needed to go live my best life. And well, I'm doing exactly that. But dude, I'm telling you, it hurts sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, it's a physical pain. I don't know, man. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, I'm glad to be sitting back at a desk. For the first time, I've got a place that is kind of solely dedicated to these types of functions. That's away from everybody. we've got the double French glass doors, so I can shut them and, kind of, I can still hear what's going on out there, but it's still pretty nice. I got to watch what was left of the NASCAR race on Saturday,
Who
but we'll
won
get
that?
into that.
Okay.
Austin Dillon. So, but we'll
Okay.
get into that in just a few minutes. Moving on here to baseball. Man, we're coming down to the end of the regular season. Aaron Judge, he hit 50 home runs yesterday. I mean, he hit his 50th home run yesterday. He's on pace to hit 63, which is one better than Roger Maris's record when he hit 62 in a single season, to beat Babe Ruth's record of 61.
Babe
But
Ruth still has a record no one's broken yet?
oh no. I mean, Babe Ruth's records have been broken.
Oh, okay.
But as much as I don't like the Yankees, I would like to kind of see Aaron Judge, um, set that record for the Yankees single season home run pace. Um, but at the same time, I'm like, all right, I don't because he's a Yankee, but at the same time, I do because I know that this is a basically he's a free agent after the season.
Yeah.
So if he goes out and he sets all these records, he's going to want the moon and then some from the Yankees. And I don't know that the Yankees are willing to pay that money for him, which is fine by me. Open it up for somebody else. I'm sure like maybe the Dodgers would be willing to pay him, but I mean, of course, it'd be funny as hell if the Red Sox came swooping in and was like, "Hey, we'll pay you. We're your Huckleberry." But I think that would be funny. But all that aside, Albert Pujols is sitting at 694 home runs. He's got 6 more to go, and he's got like a month left in the season to hit 700 home runs for a career. I really want to see him do that. I really, really do. Paul Goldschmidt with the Cardinals. He's on pace for the Triple Crown, which is leading your prospective league in actually leading the majors in the 3 big categories for batting title. You got your batting average, you got your RB. Is
Oh, you stopped
Kyle
there. Okay.
Schwarber. Yeah. Um, I mean, Kyle Schwarber playing for the Phillies. I mean, he played for the Red Sox last year, and Hank Bloom just kind of screwed the pooch uh, by not re-signing this guy. But it's water under the bridge, whatever. But I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting postseason to say the very least. I'm going to try to catch one more game before the end of the season. I think maybe like the last game of the season, perhaps. I'm not entirely sure. Because the Phillies are supposed to come to Houston to play the Astros to wrap up the regular season. I may try to catch one of those games. It's in the middle of the week, so it'd be kind of nice. Um, but I don't know. I mean, it's going to be fun to see how the playoffs unfold. With because Justin Verlander just came back. I mean, he's been back for about a month. He's been on a pretty hot streak, pretty good hot streak. He pitched 6 no-hit innings the other day before he got pulled, and now he's on the 15-day injured list with a calf injury. So I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting to see, where everything lines up. And I don't know. It's going to be fun. That's all I got to say. I mean, at this point, I just want to see the Red Sox play the role of the spoiler. They're, for all intents and purposes, they're not mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, but in all realism, they're pretty much done for the year. So, and you know what? I'm okay with that. So, it is what it is. But
Well, I got NFL news too.
yeah, I was fixing to hop over to the NFL. There were some roster cuts going on. Nothing really notable. Let me see here.
Well, let me go over this NFL statement. Watson suspended for 11 games for sexual misconduct. Cleveland Browns, and this is from Improve the News. Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson was suspended 11 games and fined $5 million as part of a settlement announced Thursday with the NFL over allegations of misconduct.
Real quick, timeout.
Yeah.
What's the date on that article? Because we went over that last week.
We didn't get mother.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it!
I was going to let you go, man, but I'm like, oh man, I can't.
I thought you only said. Well, I thought you only said he was only suspended for like 5.
No, initially it was 5. Then they did the appeal, and then when they came back, the NFL increased his suspension to 11 games.
Oh, okay.
Now the number that you've got there of 5 million differs from what the official report was of 3 million. So either way, he's having to pay out money to settle with these ladies, and he's not going to collect a paycheck for the first 11 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
So, and then when he does officially come back, that first start, depending on how the quarterback that Cleveland's putting in the starting position fares, he may end up fighting for a job. Now, in all realism, with the ownership group spending the type of money that they did on Deshaun Watson, do I expect him to have to fight for a job? No. Is he going to have to?
No, because they already paid out. They're
right.
paying out like $200.
So this poor kid that's getting the shot to try to accumulate some wins for this team, he's going to have to graciously just accept it, step aside, because I mean, it's like the rule is that you can't ever lose your job because of an injury. Well, in this case, while he's not injured, he's not really hold on a second. But I need to start putting out memos that, hey, I'm going to be recording. So,
well, he's only playing for the full season. He's only playing 6 games from what I just calculated.
Yeah. I mean, it's a 17-week season or 18-week season, but you're only playing really 17 games, kind of a sort of, situation. But still, do I think that he just needs to take the year off and just go to and just hire a PR firm and then do exactly what they tell him to do? Yeah, I think that he just needs to take the year off because honestly, 11 games is still a slap on the wrist. Considering what he did,
I think he should be fired. If my thinking is this, until the court goes in, and this is only a civil case. That's what's really bad. If it was a criminal case, I would still say this until the court is done and they have something to say and everything like that. What if they find him guilty and he's still playing? I mean,
well, here's the thing. If they found him guilty, it would be like a Michael Vick situation. He'd have to put his career on hold, and serve his time. And then he would have to go through some kind of reinstatement process to come back to the NFL and then have to earn his spot.
Yeah.
Michael Vick came back and earned his spot. He came out firing, won games, gave Philadelphia that warm, fuzzy feeling that a rushing quarterback usually does. But you know, it to me, when you've got that many people coming forward and complaining, either there's an incredibly huge conspiracy theory going against you, or you are
a shit pump.
Yeah, dude. What was the other term? Cockwomble? I
Yeah.
mean, dude, seriously, there. We have guys that take performance enhancing drugs and then they come back and they actually get paid more after their suspension because why? You know, their name or the stats that they were producing while they were juicing. I mean, to me, that's not fair. You know, it's you got guys that beat their wives, take performance enhancing drugs. You know, they get to come back and they get to play this game.
Mm-hmm.
You got guys that are out there molesting women. And I mean, they may be molesting guys. I don't know. Nobody speaks up, but nonetheless, they're out there breaking the law, physically breaking the law. Well, not physically, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're out there breaking the law. They're out there performing illegal acts. And they get to come back and be a part of the game that puts their name on the back of a jersey. And they're being treated less severely than somebody like Pete Rose, who bet on his team to win or bet on other games that his team was not involved in. And somehow that's a blight on the game and they're banned for life.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you know, to me, it's not apples and oranges. I mean, it's really not. You're either guilty of doing something that makes the brand look bad or you're not. And it's one of those situations where you can't have it both ways. You just really can't. To me, it does not set a good precedent. Because with the right legal team, you could pretty much get away with murder. O.J. Simpson proved that.
Yeah. But you can't get sorry, but you can't get away with
you can get away with flashing your dick to a masseuse and then beating off in front of her. And as long as you pay her enough to shut up, or you know, your legal team does what they're being paid to do, and they make these women look like absolute monsters and liars. Yeah, sure, fine, you can get away with whatever. You know, and it's not me saying that we need to sweep these, you know, I mean, I'm not saying believe the victims 100%, because you and I both know, we've got personal knowledge of people who lie in very egregious ways to make themselves look good.
Yeah.
To gain an advantage.
And it gets to the point where they're lying, they're lying, and they just want other people to believe them and everything like that. I literally had one chick who's like, you can't believe what he says just because he makes sense. I'm like, what? Did you fucking just say that about me? She's like, yeah, you have a way to using facts and everything where contradicts what I'm saying, what I feel. I'm like,
I reject your reality and substitute it with one of my own.
Yeah, that's basically all it was.
That's what that sounds like. I'm just like, holy crap. And I can really hear myself echoing, and I'm going to turn that down just a little bit. Is that better? A little bit.
I can barely hear you now.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'll just do this. Turn my company down. No, because that. This is such garbage.
Oh no.
Yeah, exactly. So let me try that. What about now? Is that better? No?
I can't hear you. Yeah, you got to turn it up a little bit.
Okay, I got to turn it up. I'm going to have to figure this out. I ordered some new socks for my microphone. They should be here Thursday. Hopefully that'll cut down on some of the echo in here, but
it's not as bad.
Once like I said, once I get everything hung and put together in here, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, somewhere in the plethora of boxes that we have in our garage that we're slowly emptying, I don't want. It's a scam likely call. I'm not doing it. Okay. I was going to take a scam call live on the show and be like, you've reached a federal military installation with it. This number does not accept incoming calls. How did you get this number? I need you to hang on for just a minute while I do a trace. You know, freak him out real bad. But anyway, so yeah, that's what we're looking at. I'll be glad when the season starts. Because I can sit down in my living room and with my wife and my sister-in-law and watch football. You know, we can watch the baseball playoffs and things like that.
You got enough screens to do that too.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, but the big one is in the living room, and that's really, as long as we can catch the Cowboys, I don't really care.
But there was another thing. There was another thing that I this was today. Jimmy Garoppolo's new deal with 49ers backfires for Trey
Jimmy
Lance.
Garoppolo.
Man, I didn't get to use my speaking spade, all right?
Dr. Stephen Hawking. Paging Dr. Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, I didn't get to use my Stephen Hawking voice, okay?
Like I can't come to the phone right now. I'm dead.
Yeah. It still may be, but Monday's deal to retain Jimmy Garoppolo pumps the brakes on his coordination. After failed efforts to offload the veteran quarterback via trade this offseason, the 49ers reportedly agree to a 1-year, $6.5 million guaranteed contract with Garoppolo. On Monday, that includes an additional $9.5 million in bonuses, largely attached to playtime. The deal arrived hours before Tuesday's deadline to cut NFL rosters to 53 and make Garoppolo the league's highest paid backup quarterback.
Yeah, see, here's my take on that. This is the 49ers trying to save face. Because, you know, they've got oh, come on, seriously. Okay. I need to get a MacBook specifically for the purpose of recording our show. That is so back to what I was saying. This is the 49ers trying to save face because they're sitting here going, well, we tried to get rid of you, even though you took us one game away from the Super Bowl. You know, I mean, this is just them trying to save face after being an ungrateful bunch of, lechers. It's, oh, Mikhail Gorbachev apparently died today. I thought he was dead already. Oh, well.
Really?
Anyways, yeah, I don't know. I'm getting
I,
texts while I'm trying to record.
I'm with you. I thought he was already dead.
Maybe it's one of his kids. I'm like, but to me, who
You go ahead
cares?
and do what you got to do. I'm gonna check this out.
No, I'm good. But oh yeah, all right. So the 49ers are just trying to save face. I mean, we're going to throw money at the problem. It's not a good look for them. Um, not a whole lot of football news to go over right now. Um, NASCAR, the cutoff race, the end of the regular season, um, was this past weekend. They finished it with the Coke Zero Sugar 400 at Daytona. Of course, that race mired in controversy because rain came into play, and everybody's like, well, NASCAR didn't throw the caution soon enough. Some people say they didn't throw it. They threw it. They didn't. They should have waited longer. They're saying that there's scoring inconsistencies. Bottom line, driver of the number 3 Camaro for Richard Childress Motorsports, or Richard Childress Racing, rather. Austin Dillon ended up winning that race. Good for him. He raced his way into the playoffs. Martin Truex Jr., the driver of the 19 car for Joe Gibbs Racing, he got bumped out of the playoffs. And then let's see here. Let's look at the standings right now. Standings. Okay, there we go. All right, so driver standings going into the playoffs. Chase Elliott, driver of the 9 car for Hendrick Motorsports, he's the points leader right now because he got the 15 bonus points going into the playoffs because he was the points leader at the end of the regular season. Okay. So he's the number 1 seed right now. Joey Logano drives a 22 car. He's in second place. Ross Chastain, he's the number 3 guy. He's got 2 wins this year. Kyle Larson is in 4th with 2 wins this year as well. Let me see here. He is William Byron. I look for him to try to at least make a dent in advance to the next round. Don't really see him getting past the round of 12, though. But Denny Hamlin's supposed to come in. Everybody's saying that he's due. I mean, he's basically what the equivalent of I've heard him being called the Mark Martin of the modern era. Mark Martin was one of the most resilient race car drivers NASCAR has ever seen, but he never closed on that championship. He never won a championship. He battled some of the best that this sport has ever seen. Made a lot of boneheaded decisions, made some really great moves during the course of his career. I respect the hell out of Mark Martin. I really do. He never closed on that championship, which would have been nice, a nice little feather in his hat. But that being said, moving on, Ryan Blaney drives the number 12 car for Penske. I expect him to make it pretty far, at least the round of 8. Kevin Harvick, don't really look for him to move past the round of 16. Christopher Bell, don't look for him to pass 16. The number 18 car, Kyle Busch, he's in the 11th spot right now in the standings. I expect him to advance at least to the round of 8. Don't necessarily know if he's going to pull it off with, winning to advance, but he may rely on points alone just to get to at least to the round of 8. Chase Briscoe, I expect him to drop out of the 16. Daniel Suarez, he drives the 99 car for Trackhouse Racing. I loved seeing him get that win at Watkins Glen earlier this year. Was it Watkins Glen or Sonoma? I think it was Sonoma. Anyways, a road course. Really, really happy to see him get that win. He got in by virtue of his one victory this year. Austin Cindric drives the number 2 car. He's in by virtue of the fact that he won the Daytona 500. Now, he is the rookie in this field. So we'll see. I don't expect him to go too far. Alex Bowman drives the 48 car for Hendrick Motorsports. I like the guy. I just don't expect him to go very far. Maybe the round of 12, but that's probably about it, unless he gets on a really, really wide, long hot streak. Because his crew chief, Greg Ives, has already stated that at the end of the season, he's stepping away from the car as crew chief. So that's going to be a bit of a distraction. That's going to put that team in a sort of state of flux going into next season. They're going to have to get that crew chief situation figured out. Rounding out the top 16, and the only drivers eligible for the championship this year is going to be the number 3 car, Austin Dillon, when he pulled off that victory, winning his way into it at Daytona over the weekend. Just missing it is Martin Truex Jr. I would have liked to have seen him run for another championship. He's going to be back next year, so that's going to be a good thing. It's going to provide some consistency. Some of the more notable ones, we've got Kurt Busch, drives a 45 car for 23XI Racing, owned by Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin.
Mm-hmm.
He's been out of the car for the last few weeks because of concussion protocols. Right, so he stepped away from the car.
Did he wreck his car last?
Well, he had a pretty nasty wreck, and he got a concussion from it. So, he did the responsible thing. He stepped out of the car and is giving. How's that look for lighting, huh? Yeah. So he stepped away from the car. Ty Gibbs, Joe Gibbs' grandson, has been driving the car on the Cup level for the last few weeks, which is all fine, well and good. Kurt Busch did win a race this year, and he was eligible for the playoffs, but because of the medical issues, NASCAR was willing to give him a waiver to make him eligible to still compete for the championship, even though he's been out of the car for the last few weeks. He, Denny Hamlin, and Michael Jordan all sat down. They had a discussion, and they felt that it was maybe the best thing to drop the medical waiver and let somebody else race their way into the playoffs. That's able to compete full time and be able to compete at that high level. Not the biggest Denny Hamlin fan, but I respect the hell out of that move. Especially coming from Kurt Busch, who used to be one of the big whiny kids in the garage. And he's been in the sport for about 20, 22 years now. And it's refreshing because just seeing his progression as far as personality is concerned. He went from being the guy that actually physically got punched in the mouth by Jimmy Spencer after a race to being one of the more respected competitors in the field. And this guy's got a load of talent. He gets into a car that's maybe mid-pack and turns him into a top 10 team. He's just that good of a driver. And I would love to see Kurt Busch win some more before he finally decides to hang up his shoes, hang up the helmet. But, nonetheless, it's still refreshing to see that kind of progression from his early days, getting fired from a couple of different teams, and finally ending up here, driving a Toyota, winning a race, putting this team basically riding that ship. I just it's a total it's a total class thing, and enough cannot be said about him. Let me see here. We've got I mean, there's just I, I mean, there's a lot of names I could go down this list, and I could go down this list and spend probably about an hour going over different things about all the drivers that are involved, not only in the playoffs, but all the way down to like 32nd place or even 33rd with David Reagan being, driving the number 15 car. But I don't know. The NASCAR playoffs are kind of a different breed. You win and you automatically advance to the next round. Otherwise, you have to qualify for the next round based on points. And it really puts that emphasis on physically winning races. So, I kind of like that because it prevents guys from sitting back in points racing. And like, okay, we can win a stage here. We can win a stage there. As long as we finish in top 5, I think we should be okay in points. I'll get out there and win and, secure your spot. Because that way you eliminate, like if you win early in that round, you can go out and have a crappy week the next week and know that it's okay because you've already advanced. You've already secured your spot. Now, if you continue to win, stay out there and you compete and you win 2 or 3 races in a row, great. Because all that does is just boost, it pads your points lead. Going into the next round, it increases your seeding. I'm all for that. But
the virtue goes for the next year?
No. It's just the next round of this particular playoffs.
Oh, okay.
Because you got your round of 16, and then after 3 weeks, you go down to the round of 12. Following, after 3 weeks, you go down to the round of 8. And then once the round of 8 is over, then you're left with just the championship 4. And that's when everybody rolls into Phoenix to compete for the championship. And the only 4 drivers that are eligible to compete for the championship for the series for that season are just those 4 that advanced to the championship 4 round.
I mean, they could be like dead last, but they're
well, okay, let's just say
all
worst
4
case
of them
scenario.
could be like, okay, my
worst
scenario,
case scenario. So you roll into the race, and you're the only 4 drivers that can compete, and all 4 of those teams are just having the absolute worst day.
Yeah, they're all all 4
several laps
races
down, kind of a thing. At that point, they're racing each other to get back to get as many laps back as possible before the checkered flag flies. Because ideally, if you win that race, you win the championship. Otherwise, you're relying on finishing positions. Okay. How many laps have you led, versus how many stages did you win? Were you able to finish top 10 in those stages to earn stage points? They break it down to the point where it's almost impossible for them to require a tiebreaker.
I was kind of wondering that because the way it seems, the way you're talking about it and everything like that, they could be like dead last when one of them would still win the championship.
Well, and the reason why they went to this playoff, to this points format for, the playoffs and things like that is back in the day, man. I mean, like even into the 2000s, I say 2000s because 2004 is when they initiated this chase for the cup thing, right? Where they've taken on versions of the current playoff format and points format, right? Yeah. Back in the 90s, when Dale Earnhardt Sr. won his last championship, his 7th championship, they point raced all season long. And Dale Earnhardt Sr. had so much of a points lead going into the final race at the end of the year in Atlanta when they used to hold the race there, that all he physically had to do was strap into his car, start it, and roll off and take the green flag.
Wow.
All he had to do.
That's
He
what I
took
was
he
thinking
took
about
he
that.
took he took the green flag, dove into turn one, and on lap number two, as he came around, his pit crew put up a sign. 19, I think it was like 1997 or something like that. Winston Cup champion, Dale Earnhardt. And at that point, everybody was just racing for second place. Because even if he had wrecked out of that race, he still would have had enough of a points cushion that second place would have never overtaken him.
Oh, wow.
And so they wanted to make it interesting for the fans. They wanted to put a better a more marketable product out on the track. And that's when they came up with this chase format thing. And they expanded the field from 10 drivers to 12 to 16. And then they refined it. And they keep tweaking with the rules every now and then, here and there. Because when Jimmy Johnson reeled off his 7 championships, 5 of those were consecutive. There was a 5-year stretch there where Jimmy Johnson was your reigning Cup Series champion. And it was just because he was dominating and putting together wins and finding a way to finish top 5, top 10, leading the most laps, things like that. And NASCAR kept tweaking the rules. I mean, it was almost like, all right, so back in the day on the PGA Tour, when Tiger Woods was just killing it, right? Golf course designers went back and they, quote unquote, Tiger proofed their courses to prevent him from shooting such low scoring rounds. And the term Tiger proofing was a thing back in the 90s and through a lot of the early 2000s, I think all the way up to 2012. Tiger proofing was a verb, so in essence, NASCAR was trying to Jimmy Johnson proof the playoff format, and he kept finding ways to win. And then eventually, it was like his performance started to drop off a little bit. Whether it was because of production, not production, but because of equipment or just the talent around him was starting to get better. And, whatever the cause was, I mean, eventually Jimmy Johnson did retire. He did say that he's open to returning to NASCAR for like one-off events, which would be cool. Like say a road course or something like that. But it would almost be a crime if he didn't drive his old 48 car. But Jimmy Johnson's doing pretty decent for himself in the IndyCar series.
Oh, that's what it was. Keep on going.
What? Okay. Kind of squirrel moment right there. I'm like, okay. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to if I'm going to take my pick as far as who's going to be in the top for the championship. I'm looking at Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson. I'm going to say Denny Hamlin and I'm going to pick a dark horse here. I'm probably going to say Denny Hamlin. It's going to be your 4 drivers competing for the championship in Phoenix. That's my pick right there. Elliott, Larson, Hamlin, and what else did I say? Shit. Ryan Blaney. Right? Did I say Ryan Blaney? I said it right.
No, there was this thing I found out about was like one of the IndyCar drivers was on the highway and He was following like the rules of the world.
No. It's some guy in the Czech Republic had or has, I don't know, maybe had might be the appropriate terminology, an older Formula One car,
Oh, okay.
and he was out driving on the interstate, or their version of the interstate. He was out driving on the highways, and I think I saw a video. The police tried to pull him over, and he floored it and left him. And dude's wearing a helmet, the whole 9 yards. I mean, you could tell it's an older style Formula One car because there's not all the aerodynamic packages that are on it, and there's no halo ring that encloses the cockpit like they do now. But it was just an open cockpit, older style Formula One car. I think it actually had a Ferrari engine in it, but he just took off. I mean, you're in a branded Formula One car. You're in a rolling billboard of sorts. How are you going to hide that? I don't know.
Yeah,
but
that's.
I didn't see the conclusion of it. I think the authorities did track down who he was. Either he's been arrested or he's had his driver's license suspended. I have no idea. But to me that was kind of funny there. Let me get a hold of Colin real quick.
All right. There was one that this happened like on the 2001 20th. And the cops pulled that over. Yeah.
I think it's funny watching some of these guys drive like Bugattis or McLarens or whatever, and then they go over like a speed bump.
Oh yeah, and it totally destroys the car.
Stuck. Yeah, it just tototals the car.
Well, that's the whole reason why I would never want one of those. In Wichita Falls, I think I mentioned this before. It's like the first Cobra Vipers.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't drive one of those if you paid me enough. It was like if you crushed a soda can, like one of those crushers, and you put it right there. Mm-hmm. That's how far away from the ground it was. And the first time I looked at it, I was like, I would never drive that. You know how fast that oil pan would be gone?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right, let me go ahead and get Colin pulled in here. Hey, bud. Hold on. All right. You're going to have to speak up because.
Okay.
Okay. You hear him good, David?
Yeah.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, angry faithful of all ages, it's that time once again for joke time with Colin. All right, go ahead, bud.
A boy is in a bath with his mom. Boy says, "What are those hair things, Mom?" Mom replies, "That's my sponge." Boy replies, "Oh yes, the babysitter has one. I've seen her wash Dad's face with it."
Oh. Oh, snap.
Yeah. Good luck on that one, Dad. Yeah. All right. Hey, bud, you ready for this 3-day weekend? Yeah. I will give you a call probably, let's see, today's Tuesday. I'll give you a call tomorrow or Thursday.
Okay.
To let you know what's going on. But huh? Yeah, no, I'm coming up there to get you, but just kind of letting you know, hey, here's what's when, where, why, that kind of a thing. Cool. All right, bud. Miss you.
Yeah.
Love you. I'll talk to you later.
Right.
Later. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, angry faithful of all ages, again, that was my genetic code on display for your eyes and your ear holes. Feel free to take the wet wipes on your way out the door. Don't forget to tip your bartenders and waitresses. They work for a living, unlike some of you entitled asses. You are welcome.
Well, that's the end of the show. So 72.
72, yeah. So the men's Final Four for the NCAA is going to be here in Houston about the same time that our 100th episode is kicking off. And I am sorry. I love our Angry Faithful. I love doing this show, but I am not paying $435 for a single nosebleed seat.
Holy crap.
Yeah, nope. You and I, if anything else, we could go and just shoot footage from outside the NRG Stadium.
Oh, I would be fine with that.
Yeah. I mean, that would be totally fun.
Let me talk to some people.
Go ahead to see if we can score some press access.
Well, no. Well, we could probably do some press access. It's stupid easy. It literally is. It's literally stupid easy. But you have to have like a little bit. Yeah. I'll look into that, but we might be able to do something else for 100th. I just gotta work something. We'll look around what's at that time frame and everything. So
yeah. So for those of you keeping score at home, keep your eyes and ears peeled, because if we do what we're wanting to do in the way that we're wanting to do it, we're going to have a pretty high bar to match when we hit episode 200.
Yep. Well, everybody, I am David Dickerman.
And I am Johnny Skelton, for the very first time coming to you from the newly christened Noah Cullen Studios.
And this is Nerd Sports.
Peace.
Victory.